Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the camp. Me lad from the woods. It's I think it's the 23rd of May today, late afternoon, actually evening now. Just stopping for a coffee. I've been doing cleanup around here. I didn't really want to take the camera around with me to do that. So anyway, we've got some more seedlings to put in cups. And what else have I got to do here? I've been battling the mosquitoes, but they're not as bad as they've been. I had the fan on out here, but I don't think I can put it on with you guys here. It's too loud. But I'm wearing some muskol, and of course I have my Jim Cornette, even though it's not really Jim Cornette, but because Jim Cornette, the wrestling manager, used to carry a tennis. Anybody that knows wrestling knows he used to carry a tennis racket. I still listen to him on his podcast to this very day, and I will to his last day. Fucking hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. One of the best podcasts I've ever listened to, bar none. I mean, not just for wrestling, but bar none. Anyway, so yeah. I still have to, I haven't been able to pick up the oh cripes now, Flex Seal yet for the boat, but Smitty was suggesting that we put some JB well, I guess there is one for like aluminum or something. Anyway, he's suggesting we fill that hole up with JB welt and then cover it with the Flex Seal, which seems to make sense to me. So, oh. One of my zap fly mosquitoes went into my coffee. Anyway, I think we're going to follow what Chris said, considering, you know, he's the one that fixed the boat the last time. So, we'll go with what he says. I still have to deal with the fuel filter. I should have done it today, but now it's getting in the evening. It's just that the mosquitoes are, there's no black fly. They're gone. That's how fast it can go here in Lanark. Be a bit of traffic. It's dump day at the transfer station there. Now they run from 4 till 7 on Tuesdays, and then noon till 7, I think, or 2 till 7 on Saturdays. I think it's 2 to 7. Anyway. So I've just been out here smoking and drinking coffee and doing a bit of work here and there. I'm charging up the Hollystone. Get some, we'll throw her up in the air there. It's good, actually it's a good time to do it. I'm just waiting for the batteries to finish charging, which is, might be soon. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to throw her up there. And just go straight up. I want to have a look at the property, see how many trees were down from that storm and everything. No point in trouncing around back there right now. I get eaten alive, and I'll be covered in ticks, so I don't really feel like getting covered in ticks and spending 3 hours picking the little bastards off. So, and then the chance of missing one, and then one of them get on the cats. So I want to put those cats through that again. They were covered in ticks when I got them here, like when people, whoever the idiot was that dropped them off. Anyway, as you know, I've cleaned them up, and of course they've been living here now for, I think this is year number 4, actually. Happy, healthy cats. They love their dry food. Boy, they sure eat a whole lot less of it, though, eh? When it's all protein rather than the meow mix, like it's like breakfast cereal, like cornflakes or something. That stuff's so bad for cats. They eat about quarter of the food they were before, and I leave it out all day for them, to dry food, so they can nibble. They don't gorge at all. And of course, now this is the urinary tract one, so it's helping all three of them, but Blackie was the main one I was worried about, because the other two don't have any signs of crystals, so. So yeah, that's all that's going on here. Really not a whole lot to say. If this is like this again tomorrow, where the mosquitoes are low, tomorrow I think what I'll do is I'll bring the tent out and the gazebo, and we'll put it over beside the fire pit on the big, you know, the wooden flat thing we have over there. And I'll set that up, and I've got some 50-to-1 gas. I'm going to have to run the weed whipper, I think. Because the grass starting to get long, and we'll have to see if I can afford it, but I'd like to pick up a couple of pounds of clover seed. So after I cut it down, like, I'll throw the clover seed, you know, and then it sits amongst the grass and the birds will stay out of it. Plus now I can just give it a good spray with the hose, so they won't go near it once it's soaking wet. But I want to get the clover growing in amongst the weeds, so fill in those blank spots, eh? Plus it's good for the bees. And talked to Smitty. I don't know if I've already talked about it, but I talked to Smitty of building me some bat houses. You know, it keeps the bugs down and everything, but he can't build them as cheap as Amazon is selling them. They've got them on the Amazon for $18 a piece. And you're not going to beat that price. I mean, there's, like Chris said, he says, there's no way I can build them for you, you know, cheaper than that, or as cheap. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get probably 2 of them for sure. One up on that tree over there. Maybe one over that. I can show you guys, eh? That tree straight ahead, big one. And I think I'll put one over in that end. And we'll find a tree over here too to put it on. 1, 2, and 3. That'll be enough for now. We'll see how they handle it. I did see a member of the Lanark Air Force yesterday. Dragonfly, my favorite insect of all time. I love fucking dragonflies. I don't know what it is about those things, but I love them. It's because I love aliens, like, you know, my whole thing with the UFOs and all that. And they seem like they're alien to me. Intelligent alien. I know they're not, but it just seems that way to me. Anyway, I saw one yesterday chasing rugs around, and I'm like, then I come out today and there's no mosquitoes, and I'm wondering if there was a whole bunch of them out this morning or something and cleaned it all up, because they're virtually not here. So, I mean, I'm running a mosquito coil, obviously, and I had the fan on, but even now with the fan off, and I do have muskol on, but I mean, shit, that stuff is old. I'm sure it's not as strong as it used to be. That's, I got the list out. The list. Camping list for August, and maybe before. Gonna need, right on top of that list, muskol. And coils. We're definitely going to need some more coils. I have lots of citronella. Fire starters. I won't need any of that. I'll just bring my little supply bin and refill it back up full of all the camping shit that's necessary. And yeah, so I'm going to need to get a couple of new totes. I'll write that over on the other side. Simply because my totes have just finally given up the ghost. I mean, I've had them for like a million years. So anyways, I need at least 2 large totes. I think that's all I'm going to need. Oh, who's that? Somebody sent me a message. Rumble, Glenn Greenwald started streaming. Nah, I don't feel like watching news today. Anyway, forgot what we were talking about. You're talking about camping, right? Fellow smokers will understand the brain farts you get. especially when you're like 60 and still smoking after 49 years. So my next year is going to be my 50th year of doing that. I smoked my first one with my cousin at 11 years old. I'll never forget it. My friend Penny, my cousin, and me. And it was hash. Because Ottawa was hash in those days. This is like 1974 or whatever. And I was working for a company called Good Humor Ice Cream, which is, you know, the bicycles, and you drive them around and then you sell the popsicles or whatever, and then, you know, at the end of the day, whatever you sold, you bring the money back and then they give you your percentage. So I used to do well on that. Anyway, Penny wanted to go with me, so she hops on board. So we ended up going all around the area that was my area. And she says to me, Jeff was saying the other day he got a piece of hash. I said, no shit. I said, I've never had it. I've never smoked anything. And she's, oh, you got to try. So anyways, cousin Jeffrey, we ended up meeting him back down, because he wasn't living far. So we meet him down there. Yeah, he had some hash. She knew how to roll. Can you believe this? At 11 years old. So anyways, I don't even know where the tobacco came for the hash, because it was definitely tobacco. It's my first taste of tobacco. That I didn't like. I love the hash, but I did not like the tobacco at that time. Anyways, whatever. She rolled it, so I still got the ice cream cart. We smoke it, the three of us. Well, holy fuck, your very first buzz on hash. I was browned out, man. Everything was like brown. I think I was just on the edge of collapsing. So I said, like, man, I gotta go. I gotta bring this ice cream cart back. I can't do this anymore. I was sold out anyways by that time. So anyway, I don't remember any of it, but I wheeled her home because she lived close, but not obviously with us, and brought the cart back, and don't remember any of that. And went home, went into the house. My mom, my dad, of course, everybody was there like usual, and drinking their beer and doing whatever. And I remember just going straight up the stairs. That I remember, to my bed, and I didn't wake up till the next day. Well, my parents didn't figure it out, but I always figured maybe my dad knew what was going on. Anyway, my cousin Jeffrey, he got super buzzed, and Penny did too. And that was my first experience of smoking. And then when my dad found out when I was like 12 or 13, he wasn't mad. He was cool about it. You got to remember, this is like 1975. And it wasn't that they were encouraging kids to smoke or anything, certainly the opposite. But like, you know, my dad was of the attitude, he's like, I can't stop you. I'm telling you, no, I don't want it. You know, my dad was a smoker, so. Okay, and so was my mother and them, but not heavy. But I mean, well, my dad was heavy. My mother was a light smoker. She was a light smoker up until about 5 years ago when she turned like 75, and then she stopped, period. But anyways, you got to remember too, weed in those days was illegal. So anyhow, my dad basically just said, if you're going to do this, and I can't stop you, and I don't want you doing it, you know, like you're schooling, this. So, you know, you get the lecture, right? My dad was always a good lecturer. He always, he applied logic, never yelled, never screamed a day in his life at us kids. He had, you know, he's raised his voice a couple of times, you know, where I pushed him too far. But anyways, so he just basically said, he says, here's how you roll. He showed me how to roll. I never did master it. He says, you've got to know the people that you're buying it from. Like, just don't buy from anybody walking up and down the street. Don't do this. Don't. So it was like a list, right? And, I mean, he didn't write it down, but it's like, okay, but, you know, your mother and I won't, as long as you're underage, your mother and I won't allow it in the house. And if you get caught, you're on your own. Like, meaning, you know, you have to face the music. So back in those days, you know, you get caught with a joint, they just grabbed you by the arm and dragged you home and, you know, gave you shit. At that age, once you turn 16, it was a different ballgame. But at that age, yeah, it was Nepean police, goddamn, all the way into Ottawa. And there wasn't even OPP out here, I don't think, at the time. I think they were in Canada for all the way out here. I don't even remember if that's right. But anyways, like I said, we never got caught or we never flaunted it. Like, I wasn't of the kids that, you know, needed to show everybody I was doing it. I was one of the ones that quickly learned, keep your mouth shut, keep a low profile, right? And of course, that's, you know, my dad and the upbringing's like, mind your business, let other people do their business. If they start to mind your business, you tell them to get the fuck out of your business. If they don't, then walk away. If they still, you know, pursue it, then stop them from minding your business. And he says, if you feel like you're in a killing situation, meaning somebody's going to kill you, he says, then all bets are off. He says, you let loose. My dad taught me a lot how to fight and how to do stuff. And I remember all of this day, like I just go into automatic mode. I mean, I never went to the army, but we got like basic training here for like 16, 17 years straight from my dad. Anyways, but yeah, never had a problem. I dealt for a while. You know, it wasn't really my thing. I was more into smoking it. Like I said, Ottawa was a hash town, so I ended up hating tobacco at that time. And I started doing my friend Glenn, who's a friend to this day. Like, fuck, we've been friends since we were both like 12 years old. I don't see, I don't know what he's doing. I know where he is, and he's been on my Facebook. I just don't know what the fuck he's doing. He said he was going to come up here, that he knew where I was, and like he's a very old family friend. Anyways, Glenn is the one that taught me how to do hot knives, and that's when he had first moved out, and he moved out at 16. And then I followed, you know, close after, and I stayed with him a while there, and that was in downtown Ottawa, which was terrible. Oh, I hated the city. Anyways, he taught me how to do hot knives there. Well, that was the end of any tobacco joints for the next so many years. And then, so yeah, I was a hot knifer. I still do the odd hot knife. It's just now I've got the mod with the ceramic bowl that Honey Stick makes, or the other one is MG something. And so I can just do my stuff in there now, no tobacco or anything, and I don't need to do hot knives. So hot knives is just, you know, you got the torch, you got the knives, and it's just, you know, it's a quick kind of thing. With the vape, you gotta work a little bit more, but anyway, it's either either deer. So anyway, so that's like I said, it's 49. Yeah, I'm on my 49th year doing THC in different various forms. So anywho, I wouldn't have done it different either, you know. If I, you know, what you always say, right? If I knew now, like what I know now, I wish I knew then. And I see somebody like Cornell, what's his name, the Dr. Cornell West. I would have loved to go on to university and be in his class just to listen to him. And my dad actually really tried to get me into physics and all that, and that wasn't something I was interested in. But I wish again, if I could go back, I would love to be in a class with, you know, as Carl Sagan as my professor, you know, and stuff like that. But anyways, nowadays you just go on the YouTube and you can watch courses now for free. Fuck, they're like 9-10 hours long, like a real course, you know. And so, and you don't even have to pay for it on YouTube. So I imagine there's quite a few people out there that just are learning their physics, and, you know, before they go to university to get their ticket. And once they get their ticket, they're off and running. But it would seem to me that this would encourage people to go into different things, you know. And I mean, just not, you know, your traditional, you know, white Anglo-Saxon person. I'm talking about, like, you know, everybody can, you know, you go on the YouTube, there's a 9-hour course at Harvard for free, you know, to get you started in physics. It's basic physics. It's not on basic quantum physics. And I mean, if they take a natural to it, well, you know, they can approach a university and said, listen, I've done this, and this seems to be really easy for me. And then somebody might listen and say, well, okay, let's test you and see what we can do. Find out the kid's a genius. Well, okay, let's get this kid in the university and get him some money, and let's get him trained up. You know, maybe he can solve warp drive or something, or she. But that's what I say, he, she, whatever. And he, she, and whatever. That's easiest. And you know what, it doesn't even matter. Fuck, if you're in Australia, you can go on YouTube and look at those quantum things. Anyway, I do have work to do. I've got to move some taplings. I guess that's what I'm going to call them, because I'm doing Pat's way, where you just leave the seeds in the water rather than doing the paper towel method, or the other one with the little germination things. I'm finding Pat's right. This is a lot easier. And he says, don't even bother putting them in the germination things. He says, you know, put your cup of soil together, dampen it up, and make sure you put the tap root down, cover it over, and keep it wet until she pops. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, I didn't think these were ever going to pop inside there, but a bunch of them pop. I haven't checked them now since yesterday, but they're popping. It just took them. He said it could take 7 to 10 days, and I just found that impossible to believe, but he's right. I don't even know why I fucking question. That's my friend that owns Irish Dabs. It's like, it's not that I question him. It's just like, you know, when he says something, I should just automatically go into do it mode because he's never stirred me wrong on any single thing. And he's a fuck of a lot smarter when it comes to growing than I'll ever be. And amongst other things, too. And I mean, to do with, you know, making hash and making butter and wax and all that stuff. He's a genius, Pat. Anyways, my only regret was finding him a place to live an hour and a half away from here. It's like he wanted to leave this area for various reasons. Nothing illegal or anything like that. He was just tired of all the, you know, he was living in town and he was having to deal with the townies. They couldn't find a place out here in the bush. You know, I had another place.
Slow down, mama. Why you talk so mean? Good Lord, man, shit. It ain't what it seems. You got nice clothes, late night shows, boogie down at the bar, fiddle tunes and homemade booze, but it always goes too far. Shooting pool, crack a jack, take off now, and don't